Hi, this is Lori, and we're in Ben Franklin's in Redmond, and today we're going to be doing the chalk dyeing, which is a non-permanent hair color, kind of an alternative to those sprays and all that you can put color in just for a fun night out and all. And what we're going to do is show you the process. First off, we'd like to show you what items we're using. We're using chalk pastels. Now mind you, they're chalk pastels. They are not oil pastels, which is different. So they do wash out of the hair easily. We're using clips just to kind of section off what part of the hair we're doing. We're using both a water bottle as well as I'm going to be showing you another technique where you just dip it in water. You use a curling iron or flat iron and a hair dryer. And the hair dryer, we've chosen to put a sock diffuser on it so that we're not blowing the hair or blowing the chalk, we're just drying the hair. So we're going to get started. We have taken and sectioned off a few pieces of hair. We're going to be doing it on this lower side. You can do it from the scalp down, just depending on what kind of a look. We're kind of doing her so that she has 3 different colors in the back. And so what you're going to do is you're going to first take and we're going to wet down the hair where we're going to do the processing. And there's 2 different ways of doing this. You can either twist the hair or you can just do it straight, whichever way you want to do it. And doing it both ways, either one will work. Our biggest thing is when you're putting the chalk on is that you want to go with the way that the hair grows. And that with the porosity, you don't want to rub it both directions. You only want to rub it one direction. And I'm just putting my thumb underneath and dragging it so that the color gets on there, and then we're going to flip and do the other side. See how we're putting all the color in and on the hair? Now some people like to twist it and do it this way. Same kind of thing. You're just going to want to go from the top down. So the reason for not going back against it is because it opens up into the porosities of the hair, and that can be harsh and damaging on the hair. The other way that you can do this, which some people like this technique too, and that is you dip the chalk in water. So that's why you have this little dish here with water. So you dip it in and then you go to the hair. Either way will work. It just depends on how you want to do it. The one thing about dipping it is that sometimes you need to let it sit just for a few more minutes, just so that when you go to do it, it will color easily. Whoops. Either way will work just fine. As you're doing it, we're going to turn it. Just re-wetting it. Some of the girls, when I've looked at some of the different tube ones, YouTube ones, they've even have little sections where they've actually keep their chalk inside different sections. Now one of the advantages of doing it this way is that you're not getting the hair as wet, so you don't have to wait for the drying time as much. That is one of the advantages, though sometimes when you are doing it with the wetter one, it sometimes will be just a little bit stronger. So now you see we've got 2 different colors. The other thing that I'm doing is I am wearing gloves because it does tend to bleed, as you can see, because it is chalk. And just to make it easier for yourself so you're not having to clean your hands and all. That's one reason why we've put that on. So last one, I'll wet this one again to show you. The other thing that's kind of fun about using these colors this way is that you can do two-tone too, where we could put the red up here like this. So we're doing the red on this part. Do it on the other side. And you can take your other color and put it down below. So you can blend colors, which is kind of fun. And we're going to change the color. So bit. There we go. I find too sometimes that if the chalk is too dry sometimes it just won't rub off quite as easily. So don't be afraid to get the chalk wet. That's part of the whole process so that it'll go on the hair. So see on this one it's a two-tone. And if you want to overlap it a little bit more you can just go up a little bit higher so that you even have like a third color in the center because of how you're layering. And just a little note, now Jen's hair is lighter. It's about a medium as opposed to a really light blonde. A really light blonde will of course take the color even brighter and all. The one thing you do need to be careful with really super blonde hair is that when you do your shampooing, if it doesn't totally wash out, you might consider using a swimmer shampoo that will help the color to restore. And if you're using if you have dark hair, if you feel like the color isn't going on quite as bright or as intense as you want it, you can prime it by taking your white chalk, putting it on it first, letting it sit for a few minutes, going back over it again using your color, and that will kind of help the color to pop out more on dark hair if you're not getting the intensity. Now that we've dried it, what we're going to do is we're going to heat set the chalk. So you just drag your iron through like that, and voila, you've heat set your color so that hopefully it won't dust off too much on your clothes, and that's how you hair chalk.